Video from the phone of a soldier of the Russian 56th Guards Airborne Assault Regiment, Military Unit 74507, Commission Feodosia. He waited 3 days for evacuation. The regiment advanced into Ukrainian territory near Basovka, but came under FP5 strikes. Most of the forces rolled back, and the wounded soldier got stuck in the basement of a rural house. A Russian soldier recorded a Ukrainian drone giving him a warm welcome, chasing him and hitting just by his feet. Miraculously alive, likely to savor his special operation trip a bit more. Probably not for long, though. Ukrainian drones rarely extend such tourist passes for too long. In Finland, Russian neo-Nazi Jan Petrovsky has been sentenced to life imprisonment for his involvement in war crimes committed in Ukraine. Reports the Finnish newspaper Helsingin Sanomat reported. The Helsinki District Court has sentenced Russian national Jan Petrovsky to life imprisonment on charges of committing war crimes during the war against Ukraine, fighting alongside pro-Russian terrorist groups. Such a sentence in Finland theoretically allows for the criminal to remain in prison for life. However, in practice, the average length of imprisonment is limited to 12 to 14 years, after which the offender is conditionally released early by the decision of the Supreme Court. Russian media, citing the defense lawyer, report that the defense will appeal the sentence handed down in Finland. Petrovsky is known as a terrorist and a member of the Russian neo-Nazi sabotage assault reconnaissance group, Rusik, who participated in hostilities against Ukraine in 2014. The unit set an ambush for the Ukrainian soldiers of the Adar Battalion near Shastia in September, where the Russian Nazis cut off the ears of some of the deceased. In 2015, a Ukrainian court accused the Russian of committing crimes in Donbass, which covers the creation of a terrorist group or terrorist organization, leading such a group or organization, or participating in it. Ukraine used the European Galileo navigation system instead of GPS to fire 2 GMLRS at Russian positions on the left bank, Russian sources report. If verified, Ukraine has successfully managed to lower its dependence on US satellite guidance systems and created interoperability between European systems and US weapons. By the way, the civilians had military uniforms and weapons, as you can see. Since the US is doing something tricky with intelligence and communications, it turned out that the Ukrainian armed forces were testing the European Galileo navigation system during the shelling of Veliki Kopani in order to continue working without the American GPS. For training, they chose a medium-range target where objective control of the defeat is possible. For maximum results, they launched 2 HIMARS. Everything happened with the help of the French, who transmitted the data and guided the missiles. Illa for the crests, civilians are not even people, but simply targets. A serviceman of the 810th Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces shared this video, where he showed the living conditions of his command and the living conditions of ordinary guys on the front lines. Hence the question, haven't they become too greedy?
From logs, available materials, boxes, everything is covered with a tarp. The guys worked hard, dug, improvised. Everything is dry, warm, beautiful, good. Of course not luxurious apartments, with comfort, but still. Yes, there's a little stove. Everything is heated, everything is ventilated. The bunker is buried.
Kursk is completely destroyed by the Russian army. When Ukraine invaded, all infrastructure remained practically intact. Except racing everything to the ground, they are incapable of fighting. The US is poised to resume shipments to Ukraine of long-range bombs known as ground-launched small-diameter bombs after they were upgraded to better counter Russian jamming. 2 people familiar with the weapon told Reuters. The munitions will arrive amid reports that Ukraine's supply of similarly ranged Army tactical missile systems has been depleted. Polish President Andrzej Duda has called on the US to deploy nuclear weapons in Poland to deter Russian aggression. He said Trump could move U.S. warheads from Western Europe or the U.S., a proposal he recently discussed with U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg. Russia does not accept the deployment of foreign armed forces in Ukraine, as it would mean an escalation of the conflict. Moscow will respond by all means, said Russia's foreign ministry spokesperson Zakharova. Another non-existent red line.
Voicing such plans is a blatantly provocative action, aimed not at resolving the conflict, but at maintaining unhealthy and harmful illusions among the Kiev regime's leadership. Notably, Washington distances itself from London's and Paris's plans, at least verbally, to deploy any of their contingents in Ukraine.
The French parliament has called for the seizure of frozen Russian assets to aid Ukraine. A resolution supporting Ukraine, including the asset confiscation measure, was approved by 288 MPs, with 54 voting against it. NATO Secretary General Rutte told Bloomberg, post-war, it'd be reasonable to gradually rebuild ties with Russia, but we're not there yet. We must keep pressuring them to take talks seriously. Ukraine's entry into NATO is no longer being considered. When asked, is Trump really taking Ukraine's NATO membership off the negotiating table? Rutte replied, yes.
Before you were Secretary General of NATO, you ran a European country. Would you be willing to do business again with Russia after this? Because we are hearing reports of things like maybe gas deals come back into play.
Well, I mean, I'm not there because, first of all, you have to maintain the pressure on the Russians to make sure that they do whatever is necessary. That's why we have the sanctions, and let's not be naive about the Russians. But longer term, Russia is there. I mean, Russia will not go away. And I've had many dealings with President Putin till 2014. In my first 4 years as Prime Minister, we had many negotiations. And I think it is normal if the war would have stopped for Europe to somehow, step by step, and also for the US, step by step, to restore normal relations with the Russians. But we are absolutely not there yet. We have to maintain the pressure on them to make sure that they are willing to engage seriously in talks with the American administration and, of course, also with the Ukrainians.
Indonesia is considering acquiring the decommissioned Italian light aircraft carrier Giuseppe Garibaldi, potentially repurposing it as a helicopter carrier and flagship for its navy. The interest was reported by Janes, citing a shift in Indonesian naval policy regarding the expansion of its fleet. Last month, Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali emphasized the need for an aircraft carrier, not only to bolster military capabilities, but also to support humanitarian missions and maritime security. The aircraft carrier will significantly enhance the Navy's ability to respond to various scenarios, providing a mobile airbase and a command platform for fleet operations, Admiral Ali stated.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.